We've really been in the past couple of years at a paradigm shift when it comes to tech, when it comes to AI, especially because of AI. And if you're saying that this could really tamp down on innovation, what do you think the implications are domestically long term with the change to the H-1B visa program?
Well, I mean, this is going to take a while. I mean, innovation is one of these sort of mysteries in economics for the obvious reason. If I knew how to innovate, or any policymaker knew how to innovate, what could do it? Who do we need to support, right? All this kind of thing, we'd be doing it. But we know it's very spontaneous in unpredictable ways, right? Somebody in a garage is working on a computer, right? And next thing we know, we have Apple. Or, some kid drops out of college and starts funding a company. And next thing we know, we have Microsoft. I mean, there are all these kinds of stories. And the point being, it's very hard to sort of determine when the sparks are going to fly, when everything is going to come together. It's not often, but when it does, it makes a huge difference. And so what I'm getting at is it's all about culture. You just need to allow things to happen. That is what is so different about America than other countries, is we allow that kind of flourishing. And just one final point, we fund it. There's money available to fund these things once these promising ideas are shown.
And to that point, no one ever sits down and says, you know what, I am going to innovate today. Today is the day. It's on my calendar. Innovation comes from that random collaboration, perhaps a pop-up conversation that you have with someone and they spark an idea inside of you. I'm curious, what do you think the international implications are? Are other countries right now, do you think, looking at this and saying, hey, it's prime time to poach some talent?
China has that attitude. I mean, there's sort of various jokes about other countries and trying to do this. I mean, the biggest problem with China is still the Communist Party. Yes, I mean, what China struggles with is they like the capitalism part. They just have real trouble understanding the freedom part. And, how that could work, they don't get. They want capitalism, but they still want the main control of the Communist Party. They want to fund the money. They want to say who's going to do what, but they're going for it. There's no question. They're putting a lot of money into it, and they're trying to recruit people, certainly discourage people from leaving. The problem that we see in Europe, and England's a great example, is when people start thinking about innovation, the first comment that comes out is, let's have another meeting, as opposed to let's go away and think about this. So I'm not all that worried, frankly, about foreign competition and our place in the international community in terms of innovation. I think it's in our culture. I think we have amazing people. And as I said, we have funding, and we have people who are always looking to fund great ideas, and we're lucky we do. But, it's just not a good idea to constantly make things so much harder than they have to be, which is really, I think, what Trump has been doing. He just makes it so much harder than it has to be.
To that point, if you're saying, the United States is the innovation capital of the world, we have the money, we have the funding, how much of a barrier do you think is that six-figure number, that $100,000? I mean, is that going to really deter companies? I know you said companies like Microsoft, that's not a problem for them, that's a drop in the bucket, but do you think that's going to be a real deterrence for other companies?
The money is a symbol. I think it's going to signal, we're just not enthusiastic about these people coming here. And they're going to think, if I bring somebody here, I'm going to have the government looking over my shoulder and seeing what I'm doing. And they might start looking into me, my practices, and then start saying, you're guilty of DEI. Who knows, right? I think it's more that. And again, that's the whole point, is the culture. You want to allow creativity. You don't want the government involved. And I think this signal is we are going to be involved. We're going to make it harder. And frankly, we just don't like these people coming here. I mean, that's really the truth. And that is what is so bad.
And to that point, if you're a company and you're thinking, hey, because of this decision, I could have the money to go through with this decision, but I might be in the crosshairs of the Trump administration. What does that do for innovation?
Well, I cannot say it squelches it because then I'd say I know where it comes from. A lot of these companies really don't necessarily come up with anything that's great. The great ones they are at their peak. You know, but there are always going to be people trying. I mean, as long as you can think, remember the freedom part is really what's critical. And long you have ideas, and as long as you have dreams, as long as you have ambitions, and someone can help you out with the money, we're going to have innovation. It's just stuff we don't know, right? It could be on the margin that someone is discouraged from doing something that could have made a difference or could have helped somebody. Again, it's back to my point. Why make it harder? This is so important for us in so many different ways. Why make it the thing that improves our quality of life, often in an unpredictable way? Because there's spillovers of innovations. They do things we didn't anticipate them doing. Why are foreign people the enemy when we're using them to help us really do the most important thing that an economy can do in terms of promoting the material quality of life? That to me is what I just don't get.